Emma Carter had always believed that family was the one thing money could never buy. She had spent years supporting her younger sister, Sophie, through every difficult moment. When Sophie lost her job, Emma welcomed her into her home without hesitation. When Sophie struggled financially, Emma paid her bills. She even helped Sophie recover after a painful breakup, reminding her that family would always stand together. Emma had no idea that the greatest betrayal was already growing under her own roof. Her husband, Ryan, had become unusually distant over the previous few months. He claimed he was overwhelmed with work, frequently staying late at the office or leaving on unexpected business trips. Emma trusted him completely and never questioned his explanations. She was busy managing her own career while raising their 7-year-old daughter, Olivia. One Friday afternoon, Emma finished work early, hoping to surprise Ryan with his favorite homemade dinner. She entered the house carrying grocery bags, expecting laughter from the living room. Instead, silence greeted her. Sophie's bedroom was completely vacant. Emma's heartbeat quickened as she searched every room. Then her phone vibrated. It was a message from Sophie. "Don't waste your time looking for us. Ryan and I are in Cancun. We fell in love months ago, and we're starting a new life together. We're never coming back. You deserve someone else. Goodbye." Emma stared at the screen in disbelief. Before she could process the message, another text appeared. Ryan had written only one sentence. "I'm sorry, but Sophie makes me happier than I ever was with you." Emma dropped the phone onto the kitchen floor. Everything around her suddenly felt unreal. Tears streamed down her face as Olivia walked into the room, asking where Daddy and Aunt Sophie had gone. Emma forced herself to smile through the pain. "They're away for a while," she whispered. That night became the longest of her life. She cried until sunrise while Olivia slept peacefully beside her. The following morning, the betrayal became public. Friends began forwarding screenshots from social media. Ryan and Sophie were posting smiling selfies on white beaches, holding hands beside the ocean, drinking tropical cocktails, and captioning their photos with phrases like "finally free" and "living our dream." Each picture felt like another knife in Emma's heart. Some relatives shocked her even more. Her aunt suggested she should forgive them because people can't control who they fall in love with. Another cousin advised Emma to move on quietly to avoid embarrassing the family. Emma realized that not everyone standing beside you is truly on your side. She blocked every person who defended the affair. Later that afternoon, another devastating surprise arrived. The bank informed Emma that Ryan had secretly taken out large loans against their jointly owned home and transferred thousands of dollars from their business accounts before leaving the country. Bills she had never seen before were now in her name. Her perfect life had collapsed in less than 24 hours. But as Emma wiped away her tears, she made herself one promise. She would not spend the rest of her life crying over people who had chosen betrayal. If Ryan and Sophie believed they had escaped forever, they had made the biggest mistake of their lives. Emma quietly picked up the phone and called one of the most respected female attorneys in the state. The fight for justice had officially begun. The Monday after the shocking betrayal, Emma walked into Attorney Victoria Hayes's office carrying a thick folder of financial records. Victoria listened patiently as Emma explained everything, from the cruel text messages to the hidden loans and missing business funds. When Emma finished speaking, Victoria remained silent for a moment before asking a simple question. "Did your husband ever have permission to move company money into his personal accounts?" Emma shook her head. "No." Victoria smiled slightly. "Then this isn't just about divorce. This is about fraud." Those words gave Emma hope for the first time in weeks. Over the following month, Emma worked tirelessly gathering evidence. She requested bank statements, recovered deleted emails, printed financial reports, and compared signatures on important documents. Every late night uncovered another secret. Ryan had forged Emma's signature on loan applications. He had used company money to pay for luxury hotels in Cancun. He had purchased expensive jewelry for Sophie using business accounts. Even worse, Sophie had actively helped him move money between hidden accounts. The evidence became impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, Ryan and Sophie continued showing off their glamorous lifestyle online. Every new post bragged about beach dinners, expensive shopping trips, and romantic sunsets. Neither of them realized investigators were quietly documenting everything. Emma refused to respond publicly. Instead, she focused on protecting Olivia and rebuilding her confidence. She enrolled her daughter in art classes, spent weekends visiting parks, and slowly turned their house back into a peaceful home. Every evening, Olivia would hug her mother and whisper, "You're my hero." Those simple words gave Emma strength. Then one morning, Victoria called with exciting news. "The court approved our emergency request. Ryan and Sophie's accounts have been temporarily frozen while the investigation continues." Emma closed her eyes in relief. For the first time since the betrayal, Ryan's actions finally carried consequences. Just days later, Emma received another surprise. Ryan had returned to the United States. Not because he regretted leaving. Because he had run out of money. The frozen accounts had left him unable to pay hotel bills or continue his luxurious vacation. He demanded a quick divorce settlement, believing Emma would still be emotionally weak enough to accept anything. He underestimated the woman he had betrayed. Emma simply smiled when she received the notice. She wasn't afraid anymore. She was prepared. The courtroom date was set. Justice was finally within reach. The courtroom was crowded on the morning of the hearing. Reporters sat quietly in the back because the financial fraud case involving a respected local business had attracted public attention. Emma entered wearing a simple navy blue suit. She looked calm, confident, and determined. Across the room, Ryan sat beside Sophie. They still carried themselves with arrogance, convinced they could explain everything away. When the judge entered, the courtroom fell silent. Victoria stood first. She carefully presented every document in chronological order. Bank transfers. Forged signatures. Credit card statements. Hotel invoices from Cancun. Luxury purchases. Private messages between Ryan and Sophie discussing how to hide money before leaving the country. Each new piece of evidence caused Ryan's confidence to fade. Sophie's face turned pale. When it was Emma's turn to speak, she remained composed. "I trusted my husband and my sister with my heart, my home, and my business. They didn't simply break my trust. They stole from my daughter and tried to leave us with debts they created." The courtroom remained completely silent. Ryan's attorney attempted to argue that the financial decisions had been misunderstandings. Victoria immediately presented expert testimony proving the signatures had been forged. The judge carefully reviewed every page. After several hours, he finally delivered his decision. Ryan would be held fully responsible for the fraudulent loans. The stolen business funds had to be repaid with interest. Emma received full ownership of the family business and the marital home. Sophie, having knowingly participated in hiding assets and assisting the fraud, would also face separate legal consequences. Ryan lowered his head. Sophie burst into tears. Neither of them had expected the law to catch up with them so quickly. As everyone left the courtroom, Ryan quietly called Emma's name. She turned only once. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Emma looked at him calmly. "You aren't sorry for what you did," she replied. "You're sorry it didn't work." Without another word, she walked away holding Olivia's hand. Outside the courthouse, the afternoon sun felt warmer than it had in months. Emma wasn't celebrating revenge. She was celebrating freedom. The people who betrayed her had chosen selfishness over loyalty, but they could never take away her dignity, her strength, or the future she would build for her daughter. As Emma and Olivia drove home together, Olivia smiled from the back seat. "Mom," she said softly, "are we going to be okay?" Emma reached back and squeezed her daughter's hand. "We already are." For the first time since the heartbreaking text from Cancun, Emma smiled without tears. The betrayal had ended. A stronger, happier chapter of her life had just begun.